watching Rogers TV.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
I'm Sam LaPrade. Join us on Ottawa Business Matters. Lots of great guests this week, including MPP for Nepean, Lisa MacLeod. She's going to be sharing some pretty big announcements. You'll want to join us then.
Join us for Season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Ottawa Business Journal. Welcome to the spring edition of the Mayor's Breakfast. I'm joined this morning by my co-presenter, Michael Curran, who is the president and publisher of the Ottawa Business Journal, our premier business outlet. Good morning, Michael. Ottawa is built on the unceded Algonquin and Anishinaabe territory. The peoples of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. We honor the peoples and land of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. We honor all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples and their valuable past and present contributions to this land. I want to say thank you to the team here at the Shaw Centre for hosting us this morning, and to our event partners, Event Design and Rogers TV. We are being taped live this morning, so please encourage those in your network to join the replay of today's conversation, which is made possible by Rogers TV. Now, our Ottawa Mayor is a very popular person, and we consistently sell out the Mayor's Breakfast every month, but he seems to be particularly popular this month, and so we had to do a slight adjustment to make sure that all of you, all 600 of you, could join us here this morning. I want to say thank you to Brittany Mahar, who is our senior event planner, and the Mayor's office, working together with the Premier's office to make this morning possible. We appreciate all of you being here, for investing your time and energy in the growth of our business community and the building of our city. I want to say a special thank you to the Ottawa Board of Trade Board of Directors, under the leadership of our chair, Brendan McGinty, for upholding our 167-year-old tradition of advancing business success, economic growth, and quality of life for everyone in our region. Many of you have been able to join us here this morning. Please stand to be recognized for your leadership and dedication to our community. Stand, board members, please. We also have several OBOT ambassadors joining us this morning. These are volunteers who are led by Linda McCallum, who work with new and future members to ensure they are well supported in our programs and services. Please stand to be recognized, all of our OBOT ambassadors. And if you are not currently a member of the Board of Trade, we invite you to connect with one of our ambassadors or Holly at our OBOT membership table in the front to discuss being a member. To all of our OBOT members, partners, and volunteers, we thank you for ensuring the ambassadors. Thank you. Thank you all for ensuring that Ottawa has a strong voice of business. I would like to make a special welcome to today's guest speaker, Premier Doug Ford. We are so pleased to have you in Ottawa, and we want to thank you once again for the high level of collaboration and consultation that you did with our business community, specifically during the pandemic. You really demonstrated your government's deep understanding of how we need to work together to achieve our common goals. On behalf of the Ottawa business community, we look forward to a continued strong relationship with Queen's Park to ensure that we have a competitive business environment that fully leverages the potential of our city as the nation's capital and as our province's second largest metropolitan area. I want to say welcome to ministers, and I don't know where everyone is, though. I want to say welcome to Ministers Bethlehem Falvey, Minister Sakaria, and Minister Dunlop. Thank you for being here in Ottawa today as well. I want to say welcome to MPP Stefan Sarazan, MPP Goldie Gamari, whose birthday it is today, so say happy birthday. Welcome to MPP Stephen Blais, and welcome to MPP Lisa MacLeod. And I want to say congratulations to Lisa. We celebrated your 18th anniversary yesterday as our representative at Queen's Park. As a tireless and dedicated leader, we thank you for all of your leadership and hard work. Please join me in welcoming many members of City Council who are here today. Please stand to be recognized. We really appreciate the partnership that we have at the business community and the members and leaders of our City Council. Thank you very much. Finally, the Ottawa Board of Trade is grateful for the support of our pillar partners who are committed to Ottawa's economic growth agenda and who have joined us this morning. Thank you to Enbridge Gas, BDO Canada, CF Rideau Centre, Colonnade Bridgeport, Claridge Homes, Deloitte, Meridian, the National Capital Commission, and QuadReal. We couldn't do it without you. The Ottawa Board of Trade is the voice of business and a key economic partner in Ottawa with a mission to cultivate a thriving, world-class business community. We are pleased to convene business, community, and government leaders to network, share in thought leadership, and collaborate on important issues as we build up Ottawa, our province, and our country. As you know, the Board of Trade has declared downtown Ottawa as a top priority and called on every level of government to do so as well. The pandemic has changed all Canadian downtowns, which are the economic and cultural hubs of our metropolitan areas that collectively account for over 60% of our national GDP. Our work on the Downtown Ottawa Action and Accountability Plan will finish in the coming weeks. Thank you to our partners at the Canadian Urban Institute, the City of Ottawa, the City of Gatineau, Ottawa Tourism, Invest Ottawa, BOMA, the NCC, and all of our pillar partners for your dedication to this important initiative. Following our downtown summit in the fall and a robust engagement process, we are confident that we will come forward quickly to optimize the downtown opportunity and transform our city core to be more diverse, resilient, and vibrant than ever before. We look forward to launching this plan and a subsequent campaign following our City Building Summit on April the 23rd, and I hope everyone is signed up to join us there. Together, business, community, and government leaders built this capital city, and we remain called upon to ensure that it is thriving, that it sets an example for bold leadership, radical collaboration, and innovative city building. As we kick off this morning's breakfast, let's recognize the great organizations that make this speaker series possible. Thank you to our lead sponsor, Hydro Ottawa, our featured sponsor, Algonquin College, Edelman, Commissionaires, Enbridge, the Ottawa Senators Hockey Club, RBC, the Westin Ottawa, our global partners, Oakwood and the Casino Lac Limi, our Ottawa visual partner, Event Design, our speaker gift sponsor, Inman Hardin, our coffee sponsor, who we're especially grateful to, Capital Office Interiors, and our breakfast sponsor, La Cité. A big round of thanks to all of our sponsors. Now, please join me in welcoming our featured sponsor today, the President and CEO of Algonquin College, Claude Brulé.
Thank you very much, Suling. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Koe kakena. Mayor Sutcliffe, Premier Ford, Ministers Bethlen Falvey, Sakaria, and Dunlop, MPPs, members of City Council, members of the Ottawa Board of Trade, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It's so wonderful to be here with you this morning, representing Algonquin College as a proud sponsor of the Mayor's Breakfast Series. You know, when I look around the room this morning, I see so many friends and supporters of Algonquin College. I see past students who are now proud alumni. I see community members, business leaders, and entrepreneurs, all of whom have supported our high-quality programming and our applied research pursuits over the years, and continue to provide us with real-time market input and advice to shape our curriculum to meet today's pressing labor needs. We are so fortunate to have such steadfast partners who, year after year, not only offer our students first-rate work placement opportunities, but also hire our graduates. And this success is measurable. Last month, Colleges Ontario released its key performance indicators for 22-23, with 92% of employers indicating their satisfaction with the quality of Algonquin College's graduates they've hired, and close to 90% of our graduates finding employment within 6 months of graduation. Yeah, indeed. It's enduring, successful partnerships that prove time and again that Ontario needs public college graduates, Algonquin College graduates, to fill the increasing demand for qualified talent. Algonquin College graduates are building homes, highways, and other critical infrastructures. They're supporting those in need in our healthcare system and hospitals. They're taking care of vulnerable seniors in long-term care homes and looking after our youngest citizens in daycares. And they're providing the skilled labor to transform Ottawa and answer Ontario's innovation agenda. Together, we strengthen the province's economic foundation and drive prosperity and growth. To support these goals, I am pleased to see in this week's provincial budget the Ontario government's continued investment in in-demand areas that underpin our economy. Areas such as health human resources, skilled trades training, advanced manufacturing, STEM field, hospitality and tourism, and childcare. Thank you, Premier Ford and Minister Dunlop, for your continued support of our sector. We look forward to continuing to work with your government to help ensure Ontario is a leader on the world stage. And speaking of world class and world stage, Ottawa is home to the largest technology park in Canada, where we have more than 540 companies that employ over 33,000 people and provide more than $14 billion in economic impact to Ontario. Here, once again, the 4 local post-secondary institutions, La Cité, Carleton University, University of Ottawa, and Algonquin College collectively play a vital role in sourcing talent, contributing world-class research know-how, and helping companies extend their networks nationally and internationally. I am inspired every day by the lives we transform at our institution, and I am convinced that through strategic partnership, strong collaboration, continued commitment to academic excellence, and unwavering support from our partners, we can shape a brighter future tomorrow for everyone. After all, a sound investment in public colleges like Algonquin College is great policy for a thriving economy for Ottawa and the province of Ontario. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Claude. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the stage His Worship, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe.
Thank you, Su Ling. Good morning, Ottawa. Bonjour, Ottawa. This is a very special morning, and I'm very excited to be here this morning. It's so great to look out at this enormous gathering of people, 600 people here this morning. This is probably double the size of a normal mayor's breakfast, so I'm really delighted that you're all here to join us this morning. Thank you so much for coming. C'est une matinée très spéciale. It's a very special morning, and I'm not surprised to see so many of you here to welcome the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. And I'll just tell you a quick story that I think symbolizes the Premier and his commitment to public service and the relationship that I've had with him since I became mayor. So I was elected on October 24th, 2022. And the next morning, I came to City Hall for some meetings about the transition. It was a very quick turnaround before I was sworn in. So we got right to it the morning after the election. And during one of those meetings, my phone rang, and I didn't recognize the number, and I was in a meeting, so I didn't answer it. And so after the meeting, I listened to my voicemail, and it was a message from Premier Doug Ford, congratulating me on becoming the Mayor of Ottawa. And he left his number. And so I thought, okay, well, I got a message from the Premier. That's very nice. I'm going to call him back and leave him a message in return. And so I called him back, and he answered. And I wasn't expecting that. So ever since then, whenever I call the Premier, either he answers or he calls me right back very quickly. And sometimes that's been, you know, he's stepped out of a meeting, or I think one time he was on his way to his daughter's wedding or something like that. So, you know, he's been very, very accessible to me and very responsive to our needs here in Ottawa since the day that I became mayor. And that has been the story of our relationship since day one. So when we're facing a challenge here in Ottawa, if I bring it to the Premier's attention, I know that he wants to help. Lorsque nous sommes confrontés à un défi ici à Ottawa, si je porte à l'attention du Premier ministre, il veut nous aider. So I am thrilled to welcome the Premier here to the Mayor's Breakfast today. And I'm also excited because we are going to break with our usual format at the Mayor's Breakfast. We are still going to have a little conversation over here in a few minutes, but first, we have some exciting news to share with you today, and you're going to be the first to hear it. So, a few months ago, the Premier and I began an important discussion about the unique challenges that Ottawa faces. We are, as you know, the capital of Canada, and we're the second largest city in Ontario. And we face challenges that no other city in the country faces. Nous sommes la capitale du Canada et la deuxième plus grande ville de l'Ontario. Et nous sommes confrontés à des problèmes qui ne se passent dans aucune autre ville du pays. Our downtown core, as you know, has been dramatically impacted by a number of factors, including the reduced number of people who are going downtown to work every day. A lot fewer people are using our transit system as a result. There's been a significant increase in homelessness, in substance use disorder, in mental illness. We're working toward launching a new alternative response for mental health calls. We're working on restoring the downtown, revitalizing the downtown and the Byward Market. We need help in supporting a growing number of people who are arriving in Ottawa seeking asylum. That has changed so dramatically over the last couple of years. We need to improve our transportation infrastructure throughout our enormous city. I mention this all the time, but Ottawa is 4.5 times the size of Toronto geographically. You could fit Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary inside our borders. So we are unique in that respect. And we need to make important investments to support economic growth and unlock land to build more homes. So for the past few months, the Premier and I and our respective teams and the Finance Minister and his wonderful team, Peter, it's great to see you here today along with your colleagues from Cabinet and from the caucus. We have been working very hard over the last couple of months to discuss how we tackle those challenges, and today we will be making a significant announcement about that. I'm going to leave it to the Premier to break the news, though. So please join me in giving a very, very warm Ottawa welcome to Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
Boy, no, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'll tell you, thank you so much. Well, good morning, everyone, and I'll tell you, Mayor, thank you so much for the warm welcome. Thank you for the very warm introduction, and it's great to be back here in Ottawa. I have to tell you, folks, when I come here, right from day one, 6 years ago, we've been in office for 5.5 years. I always say Ottawa is one of my favorite places to go. I just have a great time, very productive every time I'm here, and what a great turnout. Boy, you must have been really pumping those tickets. So that's great. Well, I'm here in the beautiful city of Ottawa with my great team. I call them the team of champions. Minister Bethel Falvey, the great finance minister. I call him the Minister of Money. You did an incredible job. My goodness, you put a lot of work, a lot of thought into the budget, and it landed really well. And you're really covering all bases. So, Peter, thank you for the great work. And Minister Sarkaria, Prab, MTO, again, doing a great job building roads, highways, and transportation. And Barnes. I'm getting to Barnsdale. Don't worry, Lisa. I'm getting to Barnsdale. I'm going to call you the Barnsdale champion. You really are. Minister Dunlop, colleges and universities, and thank you for putting well over $1 billion last week into the colleges and universities. And our local champions, MPP, the birthday girl, I heard, Goldie Gamari. So what I do, what I do with any of the caucus, I call them up and I usually sing happy birthday, so I'll never quit my day job to be a singer. But happy birthday, Goldie. And Lisa McLeod, 18 years. I was over at the party last night. You really know hold a good party. And the Barnsdale champion, because she was just all over Prab when he became the minister about the Barnsdale interchange there. And Stefan, great to see you, my friend. You're doing an incredible job and just working your back off. And I think I'm heading up to your area either next week or the following week. I'll tell you one thing, they have me booked solid going up to Ottawa. It's like every single week now we're heading up here, showing a lot of love. And I also want to thank the Ottawa Board of Trade. Thank you very much for putting this on, the Ottawa Business Journal as well, and everyone at the Shaw Centre. But I want to give a shout out to the servers. The servers never get recognized. They're working their backs off. I'm just very grateful for their work. You know, just being able to carry those, I think they have 10 or 12 plates all at once. I'd be a mess if I did that. And my good friend, the mayor, I'll tell you, we hit it off the second we met and we talked to each other, and I thought, boy, this is a guy that I can work with, and anything you need, Mayor, you give me a call, I'll call you back immediately. You jump right to the top. He does. He jumps right to the top of the pile. And I'm really looking forward to our fireside chat as well. Ottawa is such an amazing city. It's not just a government town. Sure, it's a government town, but it has so many different sectors too. You talk about tech. We've seen tens of billions of dollars invested in Ontario in the tech sector. And I was talking to the great councillor. The number you gave me, councillor, was about 540 tech companies, but that's an old number. So we're probably up to 600 right now. And it's a very diverse tech sector. I know I was here a little while ago with Nakia. I think Nakia's out here. So thank you for your investment here in Ottawa. But there's auto tech too. Folks, we've seen $28 billion in the EV sector invested right here in Ontario, and obviously it's a big sector in Canada that they're focusing on the technology over there. And I don't know if you saw it in Bloomberg News. It said Canada, it should say Ontario, but we'll say Canada. is now taken over China as the #1 destination for EV battery production, and so it's really exciting. We've seen again over $28 billion, and I have to give a shout out to the Minister of Economic Development and Trade, Vic Fedeli. He's the only guy, he must put on 2 million miles a year because he is all over the world selling Ontario. And this is my prediction, and I don't think I'm going to be wrong on this. So we've seen $28 billion in EV, we've seen tens of billions of dollars in tech, and by the way, we're growing faster than Silicon Valley and San Francisco Bay Area by 350% faster. We employ more people in Ontario in the tech sector than San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley. They employ about 388,000. We employ 425,000, growing rapidly right now. And then life sciences too. Cam Love from Ottawa General's here. Cam, are you out there? He's looking at an innovation center. So we're going to really invest in also the life sciences. So we've seen, again, over $3 billion of investment right here in Ontario when it comes to that. You know, there's always headwinds, there's always bumps in the road, but I'll tell you, we're doing extremely well. I've had the privilege and the honor to meet a lot of ambassadors and consul generals and governors from the U.S., and they're in awe. And it's about Team Ontario. It's not about an individual, it's not about a party, it's about Team Ontario. I could not do this job without the collaboration and cooperation of 444 municipalities and the federal government. I have to give them a shout out. They've invested a lot into the sector. But again, I figure $30 billion are going to be invested right here in Ontario this year. It's going to be a record year. And you know something, Mayor? You know, you have probably the toughest job out there. Do you know he's having a tougher job than the mayor? Is my teleprompter guy, Rico, because I'm all over the map. I haven't even looked at the teleprompter. Rico, I apologize. Go have some bacon and eggs. I'm going to be back with you in a minute. And yeah, there he goes. I don't know how you keep, I don't know how you do it, to be honest with you. But I'll get back on script here. So it's also a very unique one with its own set of economic and social challenges, Ottawa, and I heard you say that, Mayor, so we're going to work with you, and we're going to help you. Okay, Rico, you got to start moving that up now. See, I threw him off. So it's our province's second largest city, and it's an economic and a service hub for all of Eastern Ontario, and it shares a border, obviously, with our great neighbors in Quebec, and it's our nation's capital. I'm so proud of Ottawa being our nation's capital. And while these distinct circumstances will always present some challenges, I believe they mainly offer some amazing opportunities. And I always say when there's challenges, let's look at opportunities, and there's a tremendous amount of them. Opportunities to grow Ottawa and Eastern Ontario's economy, opportunities to create better jobs with bigger paychecks, opportunities to support the hardworking people of this region. That's why today we're announcing a new deal for Ottawa. And thank you, Mayor, and our team too. We're announcing a new deal for Ottawa that will help the city continue rebuilding the economy and deliver on key priorities, including building highways and homes. As part of our historic new deal, the province will provide the city with up to $593 million over the next 10 years in operating and capital funding. Before we get into the fireside chat, let me take this opportunity to highlight some key details of our new deal. The first one I'm most excited about. Subject to due diligence, we're uploading Ottawa Road 174, and that's going to be big. It's really, really big. And when we upload the roads, really the biggest issue on roads and highways is the maintenance. So we're providing $9 million in immediate funding for maintenance. This will free up much needed room in the city's capital budget to invest in local priorities while ensuring this highway is in good repair for long term to support Ottawa's economy. Nothing is more important, here I go off script again, sorry Rico, but nothing is more important than infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, it's, we're spending about $185 billion in infrastructure, building the roads, building the highways, building transit, building the hospital, which by the way, you're getting the largest spend, second largest, almost the largest, well over $10 billion of investment at Ottawa General. And CHIO, I know we invested in the pediatric care as well. Both of them are doing a great job. And when we had a chat, the Minister of Finance, Peter and I, we sat down with our team, and you have two choices. And I know Peter mentioned this on your press conference. I'm taking your words, Peter. We have two choices. Either just stop spending for a couple of years and nothing moves, or you keep moving, you keep building. We chose to keep building because, as we say, budgets only last a year or two, and then they're back in balance and we have a surplus. But infrastructure lasts 50 to 100 years. So we chose the route to keep spending on infrastructure. You can never go wrong if you invest into the hospitals and schools and roads and highways. So thank you, Peter, for doing that. And we're also focusing on transportation needs, including funding for the design and construction of the new interchange, Highway 416 and Barnsdale Road. See, you're as happy as anything, Lisa. I'll tell you, she's worked hard on that. Advancing the Canada North Transitway and repairing and upgrading rural roads outside of Ottawa City Centre. We're also taking a serious action to improve public safety. That's a big issue in every single city. First, by adding more uniformed police officers, which I love our police officers in the Byward Market, and on public transit. And secondly, by building a new police neighborhood operations center right in the Byward Market area. That's very important, absolutely. You know, it's a beautiful area, but it's an area that we've seen increased crime, and I know that's a top priority for the mayor as well. The New Deal for Ottawa also supports the region's economic growth. We're providing over $20 million through Invest Ottawa to attract new jobs and investments. The deal will also deliver on our joint commitment to build more housing, to bring home ownership in reach for more people. And you know, every poll you look at, it doesn't matter who's doing the poll, make no mistake about it, the number one issue is affordability. Affordable homes, affordable groceries, and affordable gas. So we've dropped the gas tax again. We're going to hold that. I think we're holding that forever, Peter, sorry to tell you, but it's 10.7 cents. We've knocked off gas, and I'm a little, not to get deep into it, I'm a little disappointed. On April 1st, the carbon tax is going to go up 23%, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. We've had a very good relationship with the federal government, and I don't look, folks, I don't look at political stripes. I don't care if you're from the Green Party, the Orange Party, the Red Party, the Blue Party. I want the party for the people that are going to represent the people, put more money back into their pockets instead of the government's pockets. Matter of fact, one of the worst places you can give your money is to the government, to be very frank with you. And I'm thrilled that Ottawa has agreed to open up municipal lands for more housing and will help facilitate a new long-term care home at the Ottawa Hospital. I was talking to Cam Love about that. So Cam, keep going. You're doing a great job. Do you know what I love about Cam? He doesn't call up and say, can I do it? Can I this? Can I that? He just does it. The guy's an absolute champion. So we're working hand in hand with Mayor Sutcliffe to rebuild Ottawa, to rebuild its economy. I also want to give a massive shout out again to Peter Bethenfalvey, Ontario's Minister of Finance. He was critical in landing this deal. He was on the phone with the mayor going back and forth. So thank you, both the mayor and Peter. It's greatly appreciated. Well, Ottawa and the city of Ottawa have come this historic agreement, we still need the feds at the table. As the largest employer in the city, the federal government needs to do its part to help rebuild the city's economy. And I think the next part is so critical too. You know something, I know a lot of people love working at home, and that's fine, but we need the federal government to get government workers back into the office, because, you know, even a few days, because what it does, it's a real massive boost to the transit ridership. It's huge, and in the downtown economy, without the people down there, the economy starts dying, the restaurants start hurting, and everything else starts hurting. So hopefully the Prime Minister will call people back to work. We're also calling on the federal government to step up as a full partner by providing federal support on shared priorities, including shelter supports for asylum claimants. That's very important, along with infrastructure funding and support new housing, and support for Ottawa's unique costs for managing protests and demonstrations at Parliament Hill. I got to ask you, has the Prime Minister called you back yet? Huh? See, he's too shy. Unbelievable. I know, he's not saying that means no, he hasn't returned your call. But anyways, I'll be on him like an 800-pound gorilla. I can't figure that one out. So we need all levels of government working together to ensure Ottawa, our nation's capital, has a strong, thriving, and vibrant economy. Once again, I want to thank you, Mayor, for your partnership, your friendship, and your support. And I want to thank each and every one of you. You play a critical role in Team Ontario, and I'm so grateful. I really am. So thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Premier Ford.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm going to do this now before I forget, because we'll get into our conversation and I'll forget. But by the way, I'll tell a quick story. The first time we met, you came to Ottawa.
Yes.
And I said to somebody, should I give the Premier a gift? And they said, no, it's okay. You don't need to do that. He's not into that sort of thing. And then I showed up, and you gave me a gift. So I felt really bad about that.
Boy.
So then the next time we met, I flew to Toronto, and I said, I got to bring the guy a gift this time. You know, I can't show up empty-handed. And so we talked about it, and we had the team at the city. What's the right thing to give the Premier? You know, what do you give the Premier of Ontario? So we decided on the gift, and then my Chief of Staff, Robin and Guest, and I went to the airport, and at that point we realized that we were flying to Toronto for the day. We had only carry-on luggage. We weren't checking any bags. And the gift we were giving you was a clock. So we were bringing something that ticks onto an airplane. And going through security. But we managed to get it through security.
Yeah, that was beautiful, too. Thank you.
Yeah. Is your mic working? Can you check?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to give you another gift today. You just talked about Team Ontario, and I'm going to narrow it down a little bit. I talk all the time, as everybody here knows, about Team Ottawa, l'équipe d'Ottawa. So I have a little something for you on behalf of Team Ottawa.
Oh, boy, thank you. Thank you. Let me just...
Yeah. Here we go.
There you go. Thank you. That's great. Beautiful.
Flip that around.
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that was the least I could do. You're giving us almost $600 million.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's an expensive jersey. That's a $600 million jersey. I'm gonna frame that one.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Very thoughtful. Thank you.
That makes it a fair deal now.
Yeah, I think it's fair. That's fair trade.
Listen, thank you so much for your support for our city at this really critical time. We both talked about the unique challenges that Ottawa is facing. That's why this is necessary. This is not about any municipality in Ontario. It's very, very specific to Ottawa and our unique needs. So once again, thank you for recognizing those unique challenges and being our partner.
Well, thank you, Mayor. It's a great relationship. We're going to continue building the economy and the support for Ottawa. Honestly, I love Ottawa. I'm not just saying this. I'm telling you, every time I come here, I have a phenomenal time. So I just love the people, and we're going to work well together.
Absolutely. So I wanted to thank you as well on a couple of other fronts that you know, I think sometimes you don't get enough credit for. One of them is the Civic Hospital campus that we're building.
Yeah, that's incredible.
This is an enormous project for the city. It's going to mean world-class healthcare. You mentioned Cam Love, the CEO of the hospital. We're you know, I pass by there quite often, the new site where the hospital's being built, and we're seeing the structure coming out of the ground. We still have a lot of hurdles to cross and progress to make, but that is going to be a game changer for our community. So thank you for your support on that.
Yeah, no, that's really good, and I hear we're building a long-term care homes there as well. So I'm quite excited. I can't wait to go and pay you a visit and cut the ribbon. And I hear the parking lot's getting done right now, so I'm going to have to come by next week and drop by.
That'd be great. The other thing I want to thank you for is your support of the World Junior Hockey Championships, which we will be hosting in Ottawa this year.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember you calling and going back and forth, and Minister Lumsden pulled through on that because it's a competitive bid as well. So I'm glad we landed it here in Ottawa.
Yeah, and it's very rare these days for one city to host the World Juniors. Quite often it's Edmonton and Calgary hosting it, Toronto and Montreal hosting it, but Ottawa is hosting it on our own, starting this December and continuing into January. It's going to be huge for our economy. And when I reached out to you and said this is important for us, and we need the provincial government to provide some support for our bid, you made it happen. So we appreciate that very much.
It's going to be great. I'm going to be here, and I can't wait.
Yeah, we're going to go to some games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to some games.
You can wear your new jersey.
Yeah, I will. Wow, jersey. It's neutral, right? It's not the Leafs or the Senators.
That's right. We don't talk about the Leafs here.
I know. I don't blame you. I have to be neutral. And I got a Sens shirt this morning, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So listen, I wanted to, we can explore the deal a little bit more, but I wanted to talk a little bit about your background and why you chose to enter politics, and why it was so important to your family. Your father was an MPP as well. So just before we do that, what do you see as the opportunity for Ottawa going forward? Where do you hope to see this city progress to, and in the context of your plans for Ontario?
Well, I think it starts with a strong economy. The economy pays for everything. It pays for healthcare, it pays for education, puts food on people's tables, gives them the opportunity to do things they might otherwise not be able to do. And I always like this number, Mayor, is when and I try to avoid the politics, but I'm a numbers guy. The previous government chased 300,000 jobs out of this province, high taxes, and high energy costs and red tape and regulations. The good news is, with all the support of people in here and across Ontario, there's 700,000 more people working today than there was 5.5 years ago. And I always say government doesn't create jobs. We create the conditions and the environment for companies to come here and thrive and prosper and grow and reinvest into their people, into the technology, into infrastructure, putting on buildings. So I'm really, really excited, especially the tech sector. It's really growing. We have some of the brightest people anywhere in the world right here in Ontario when it comes to tech. And tech is right across the board, no matter if it's healthcare, with AI. It was born right here in Ontario. People don't realize, over at U of T actually, and it's just spread. So it's going to be great in the auto sector with the tech as well. But there's more investments coming to Ottawa here, so it's good.
And we share, obviously, the priority of building more homes. That is it's probably the greatest challenge that we face in this country right now is the housing crisis. Can you talk more about how we can get that done together?
Yeah, so really it comes down to getting the permits out as quickly as possible. And I want to thank the councillors. I walked a mile in their shoes. I was a councillor at the City of Toronto when Rob was mayor, and they have a tough job. It's like front-facing. Any issues, they call their local councillor, but they're instrumental in making sure we move forward on the housing file. And we put together a fund, Building Faster Fund, $1.2 billion, saying here's an incentive for cities to build more homes, and that goes into infrastructure. Also, Minister Surma, great infrastructure. If you add up everything, it's close to $3 billion, the announcement last week on infrastructure, making sure that we have the sewers and the water. That's critical, absolutely critical to building homes.
Yeah, that infrastructure money is certainly very welcome, and the finance minister and I have talked about that. Yeah. So let's talk about your family history, and people may not remember that your dad was a member of provincial parliament as well as an entrepreneur and the founder of your family business. Tell me a little bit about what you learned from your dad, Doug Ford Sr.
Well, it's really customer service excellence. When someone calls me, you return their call. I get approximately even on busy days, 300 messages. And you have to return everyone's call. It doesn't matter if it's little Miss Jones that has a crack in her sidewalk or the great mayor of Ottawa. You return their phone call. It's critical, and I emphasize that to our caucus and cabinet to return everyone's call. And you return someone's call. You know how hard it is to get a hold of someone in the government to try to get something done? I just call my line, the 911 line, just call and we'll help you out any way I possibly can. It's not about being the province or municipality. I take all calls, municipal, provincial, and federal.
And was public service part of the message that you got from your father, that it wasn't just about building a great business? You guys have a family business that's been very successful, and you worked in that business. But the commitment to public service, is that something that you learned from him?
Did we ever? Even before, our family's been in politics over 30 years, but he emphasized, we've been blessed as a family, and you better get out there and give back. It doesn't matter if it's supporting the local hospital or being part of the Rotary Club, which our family was heavily involved in, or any organization at all. You have to give back, and that's what we've been doing. And that's how we ended up in politics. You got us in politics, and I always tell them, and I remind them, was Bob Ray. So my dad was getting to that age, and we were involved in the business, and he always owned the business, but he was getting in our hair. He was telling us, do this, do that, and he'd go home, and it was when Bob Ray got elected. It was 1990. And he used to shout and scream at the television at Bob Ray. And he'd drive my mom crazy. After 56 years of marriage, my mom called me up and said, I'm going to end up killing your dad because he's just at home screaming at Bob Ray at the television. And I've told Bob Ray this story many times. By the way, Bob Ray's a really good man. He really is. So without him knowing, I went to the local riding association and I put his name in the hat. Because my dad sat on the board of the hospital for 12 years, and Rotarian, and all sorts of charitable organizations, and a local business owner. So I thought, boy, I'm gonna keep you busy. So I came home, and I said, Dad, rather than scream at the television, I'm sure people scream at the television when I'm on there too. So I said, go do something about it. And he goes, I can't stand government. I can't stand politicians. And I said, well, I put your name in the hat to run in the nomination. So we ran in the nomination. He was fortunate. He won the nomination. And then we were up against an incumbent, a 16-year incumbent, Dr. Jim Henderson. He was a really good person. And we were fortunate enough to win that election, and with Mike Harris. And then Rob got involved as a city councillor. He was down there for, I think, 10 or 12 years. And I was running the business in Toronto, then I expanded in Chicago in New Year's Eve. I hopped on the plane. I didn't tell anyone. I brought my accountant with me and said, we're going to Chicago. And so I called ahead a week ahead to find a real estate agent that would find a little office to start it off. And sure enough, I found this gal that was from Romania, and she was there for a year. And I said, hey, do you work New Year's Day? And she said, sure, I'll show you some little places. And so I found an office. It was about 1,000 square feet. And our accountant went home, but I called my dad on New Year's Day, and he said, hey, son, happy New Year's. I said, Dad, Happy New Year's. He says, are you coming over for breakfast? I said, I'm in Chicago. And he goes, what are you doing in Chicago? I said, we're expanding into the U.S. No, focus in Toronto and this and that. This is the best thing we ever did, is expand into Chicago. Then 6 or 7 years later, we purchased a company in New Jersey. And in Chicago, we saw real huge growth. I started in a little office, then expanded 4 times in less than 5 years, running 24/7, and it's just a great place. So I spent 20 years going back and forth to Chicago and New Jersey, and I give all the credit to my wife. We had 4 kids in less than 5 years. I don't even know how that happened. I must, on the weekends when I came home. But anyways, we had 4 beautiful girls, and so she gets the credit as we're building the company. She was hard at work raising the kids.
So you could have stuck with that and continued to work in the family business and continue your successful business career, but you ended up running for city council. You ran for mayor of Toronto, and then I guess now 6 years ago you ran for the leadership of the Progressive Conservative Party in Ontario. What drew you to politics? Well, it was Rob. So, he was down at city council and he used to call me up, Doug, there's so much waste and so on and so forth. And one day he called me up and I was in Chicago, and he said, I need you to come home because I'm running for mayor and you have to run in my seat as city councilor. I almost hit the telephone pole driving down the street when he told me he's running for mayor. And I said, Rob, I can't. I can't do it. I got to be here in Chicago. And then I came back and we met the local city councilor by the name of Mike Delgrand, the budget chief at the time. We went to Swiss Chalet, and Mike convinced me somehow. Do you know what Rob told me? He goes, Doug, don't worry. It's going to be a part-time job. I can assure you, councillors aren't part-time jobs, number one, but being the mayor's brother is not a part-time job. But, when we walked into office, I'll never forget it. I come from the private sector, so I'm just focused on numbers. And the city manager said, well, welcome to the city of Toronto. You're facing $774 million of pressure. You have to raise taxes by 20-some-odd%. And I said, we'll never do that. And sure enough, we worked with a great staff there. We drove efficiencies. We looked at Lean Six Sigma methodologies and standardization. And we delivered a 0% tax increase the first year. Overall, in the term, we saved $1 billion. And I'll never forget, the Toronto Star used to say, no, you never saved $1 billion. You saved $887 million. I thought, okay, I'll take the $887 million coming from the Star. So I thought, but it was over $1 billion actually. Yeah. Not bad. Yeah. So, something that comes out in what you talk about, which I've always noticed about you, is that you see the best in people. So you just talked about Bob Ray, who drove your dad crazy, but he's a great guy. And yes. The guy that your dad ran against for MPP is a great guy. You talk about relationships all the time, and you spoke about the relationship you have with the federal government. You're not the same political party as the federal government, but you developed, particularly during the pandemic, a very strong working relationship with Chrystia Freeland and with other ministers. Person. So, can you talk about you know, that I feel like you see the best in people, and that building those relationships is very important to you.
It's all about relationships, no matter if it's politics or business. And I truly don't care about political stripes. Our family's been elected by traditional NDP voters, traditional Liberal voters, and PC voters. Just being hardcore conservative, and don't kid yourself, I'm a pretty staunch fiscal conservative, but we have big social values too, so I guess I'm a pretty progressive conservative as well. But Christia, she's a wonderful person. During the pandemic, you know, we were on the phone every single night, boy, late at 9, 11, 12 o'clock at night, just getting decisions made really, really quickly. And I got to give another minister up there, Dominic LeBlanc. He does a great job as well. And he comes over for a cigar once in a while. I'm not a cigar smoker, but I give him some cigars, and he's just a wonderful person as well. And same with your counterpart, Olivia Chow. We've known Olivia for a long time. Rob and her late husband, Jack Layton, sat side by side with each other at City Council when Rob first got elected back in 1999. And they really bonded, and they had a good relationship. He said, Jack taught me so many things, Doug, you wouldn't believe it. I said, but, you know, he's pretty staunch NDPer. And I said, how did you vote? He said, at the beginning, I'd just look over to see what he was voting. I'd vote the opposite. So, but you know, with Olivia, we hit it off. She's such a kind person. She believes in building homes. And you always have to look at the good parts of everyone, and there's always good, always.
Absolutely, it's a great lesson.
Yeah.
So I often reflect on the fact that 2 years ago I wasn't planning to run for mayor, and yet here I am sitting with you today. And for you, the time between running for the Progressive Conservative leadership and the election 6 years ago in 2018 was very short. So it all happened very fast. Do you ever look back on that? Because it was a bit of a whirlwind, running for the leadership.
That's right.
Winning the party leadership, and then winning the 2018 election and becoming premier.
Yeah, so what happened when I ran for mayor, so this is the type of guy Rob was, about returning calls. You know, I went into the hospital, and he had about 2 weeks left, and he wasn't conscious the last week. But the week before, I walked in, and Rob used to have a call sheet. It was 8.5 by 11. It was split down the center, and it was just sheer numbers. He'd give those fridge magnets out, and he'd give them out to everyone, 500,000 of them. And actually, someone came up the other day and said, I still have your brother's fridge magnet. So he knew it wasn't long, but I walk in, and there's Rob returning calls. And I said, Rob, what are you doing? He goes, but without missing a beat, he was dead serious. He goes, these people expect me to return the call. And I thought, man, who does that? No one does that. You know what I mean? Like you have 2 weeks left, and you're returning constituents' calls. They'll never make a retail politician like him, ever, never. So.
But did you, I mean, just looking on that whirlwind time from when you became leader to becoming premier, what, any
So just to carry on, sorry, I got sidetracked there with Rob, I apologize. So when at the time, when Rob was running for mayor, then he got sick and he got cancer, and then like in a couple hours before, the doctor said, there's no way you're going to run. So there's a cutoff in municipal politics, as you know. You put your name in or you don't. So I ran down there, threw my name in. It was like 4 weeks before the election, or 4 or 5 weeks, and you had to start a whole campaign. And it came close, but never happened. Had a good relationship with Mayor Tory. He's a friend of mine. He's a very good man. And I wish he never stepped down. That's nothing against Olivia, but he's a good person. And so at that time, I thought, okay, I'm going to wait, and then I'll run again for mayor. And then, you know, I think 3 or 4 months before the provincial election, a little mishap happened with the leader at the time, and I thought, okay, I think I can help the province more than the city. And I was fortunate enough to get elected. But I'll tell you, and I'm not just saying this, folks, I've been in politics for over 30 years. I've never seen a stronger team, caucus and cabinet. My biggest challenge is I have 50 people that all could be cabinet ministers, and it's very difficult, but we have the most talented, diverse, sector diverse, multiculturally diverse as well. But man,